What's going on, guys? Josh from soccerreviewsforyou.com bringing you a video today to explain why you should not buy a Nike TechCraft soccer cleat. Hold on, before you leave your negative comment telling me that you have a pair of Nike TechCraft boots and you love them and I'm dumb and don't know what I'm talking about, I actually agree with you. I think that the Nike TechCraft boots are actually pretty good. With that said, I don't think they're necessarily the best option, which I'll explain why right now. So how can I both say that a product is very good, but also not recommend it at the same time? Well, let's think about this for a second and actually break down what the TechCraft pack actually is. Because as an idea, I think it's actually pretty cool. You're getting a leather variation of a shoe that wouldn't normally be leather, which again, at the surface seems like a really good idea, but also at the same time, they're taking away all of the technology, all the development, what that specific shoe was supposed to be, stripping that completely away to make it leather, which could potentially offer a good experience, but is that experience going to be as good as the standard synthetic version of the shoe, or as good as other leather shoes that you can buy for the same price or less most of the time? I would argue no, and that's partially why I think while some of the TechCraft models are very, very good, they're almost never the best option if you're purely looking for the best possible leather boot, either just from Nike or from any brand in general. The idea of taking the design and concept of a shoe and trying to turn it into something that it's not is really where I have issue with the TechCraft concept. So if we consider how Nike or really any major brand would design their shoes in the first place, they spend over 2 years sometimes on one model, developing, designing, testing, making that shoe to be, to feel, to perform a certain way. It's really, really important that they get absolutely everything right. So with the TechCraft pack, you're not getting that same type of development. Basically what they're doing is they're stripping away what would normally be the synthetic upper that is very much purpose-built to provide a certain feel, a certain fit, a certain touch on the ball, and they're replacing it with leather, which while leather is very, very good, it is personally for me my favorite material for the upper of a soccer cleat. Of course, that very much does come down to personal preference, but when you take away that purpose-built upper and replace it with simply leather, the experience, the performance characteristics of that shoe are not going to be the same. And I think most people realize that when they buy a TechCraft shoe, but I also think that a lot of people buy the TechCraft boots thinking that those are the best possible leather shoes that they can buy, when that is not necessarily the case. Regardless of which TechCraft generation you're talking about, either the current ones or ones from 2 years ago, the best leather shoe on offer from Nike at any given time has been the Nike Tiempo Legend, whether it's the Legend 5, the Legend 6, or the current Legend 7. If you want the best possible experience from a leather soccer cleat from the Nike brand, the Legend is the way to go because again, it is purpose-built to fit, feel, and perform a very, very specific way. So if you're simply buying the TechCraft pack because you want a leather upper and expecting that to be the best experience from a Nike product or really any leather shoe out there, I do not think that's the case. I think you are much better off buying the top end Tiempo versus potentially spending a lot more money on the latest TechCraft model. So what I'm getting at here is not that you should not buy a TechCraft boot from Nike. They can be very, very good, and certain things about them do draw some people. For example, if you really wanted a mercurial sole plate and stud pattern with a leather upper, then maybe a TechCraft Vapor would be something that you'd be really, really tempted to get. But again, have realistic expectations on what that experience is actually going to be like. It's not going to have the same performance standards or characteristics that you would get from the standard variation that was developed to fit, feel, and perform a very specific way. That's just not something that the TechCraft models provide. Also, don't buy any of these TechCraft boots with the expectation that that's going to be the best experience you can get from a leather shoe from the Nike brand, because if that's what you're after, purely the best leather boot experience, going for the current Nike Tiempo Legend is definitely the way to go. I can assure you of that. Also, while I'm on the topic, I figured I would let you guys know about the current TechCraft pack and why there hasn't been a review on my channel as of yet. I'm working on bringing them in, but this time around they didn't actually release in North America at all. They only released in Europe, which is unusual, but there is an explanation as to why that is. And it's simply because the TechCraft packs, pretty much any of them, they've not sold well at all. All of them have ended up in outlets in pretty much every single colorway. None of the retailers sold out in any of the versions, in any of the colorways. So for the most part, it hasn't been a particularly successful pack from Nike. Now, because everything they do is planned ahead of time, it's definitely very, very possible that this current TechCraft pack that just came out basically 2 weeks ago could be the last one. It's why they only did it in 3 variations: the Vapor, the Hypervenom Phantom 3 Low, and of course the Magista Opus 2. I think the reason why they did the low cut ones and not the mid cut ones as well is most people who would probably be interested in a TechCraft boot, part of the boot enthusiast community, would most likely want a low cut version. That would be my assumption in terms of Nike's logic on that one. But again, I think a big reason why they did not release everywhere this time around is because historically they have not done all that well. So I think it's pretty likely that this might be the last TechCraft pack ever, or at least for a little while. Anyways, guys, those are my thoughts on the Nike TechCraft pack series. Really, out of every single one that I've tried, the only one that jumps out at me as being one that I would actually want to wear was the TechCraft Nike Mercurial Vapor 10. And that's because they legitimately gave us a straight up leather Vapor, which growing up, I thought that's something that would always be a cool idea. But even as good as that shoe was, really the best Vapor experience was still the regular version of the Vapor 10. So let me know your thoughts on the TechCraft pack. Is it something that you look forward to when they release? Is it something that you buy every time that they come out? Have you tried the TechCraft ones and the regular versions of the same shoes? Which one did you prefer? Let me know your thoughts and experiences down below in the comments. I'd be really, really curious to hear what you guys have experienced with this pack. Also, if you have any questions for me, as always, leave them down below in the comments and I'll do my best to get an answer out to you as soon as I possibly can. If you guys enjoyed today's video, found it helpful and informative, be sure to support it with a like. Subscribe if you haven't already for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. You can find all my social media information linked down below in the description as well. And other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video. And as always, thanks for watching.